She looked up and down. She sees young ladies that she grew up with. They're all great swimmers. They've been from the time they were born, frankly, because that's the way it is. They were good from the time they were born. Jack Nicklaus was a great golfer from the first day he picked up a club. That's the way it goes, right? You know, they were great. She looked up. She sees her friend. She looks down. Then she looked to her right, and there's this huge person. Looked like Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt the Stilt. He was 7'1". Now looked like with a wingspan. He was built like this. She was built, I'm sorry, like this. Most perfect body. I wish I had a body like that. I would have been president 20 years ago if I had this body. It comes down like this. And she looks, she says, wow, oh, whoa, I wonder how she swims. And you know, the young lady was very seriously injured. You know that, right? Windburn, because he went by her so fast. The wind was so great. She got a bad windburn, but she'll be okay. Now, do you think, does anybody really believe what's going on in this country? I will sign a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. And this is what we must do to save our country from destruction. 2024 is the final battle. If we don't take it over, we're not going to have a country anymore. I want to be positive. I'm just telling you, we're not going. If we allow them to cheat, because it's the only way they're going to win the election. If we allow them to cheat again, you're not going to have a country. If you put me back in the White House, the reign of corrupt Washington establishment will be over, and America will be a free nation once again. With your support in this election, we are going to complete the mission. We are going to finish what we started. We did so much. We rebuilt our military so much, but we have things to finish. Stand with me, and together we will defeat the globalists, the Marxists, communists, and the rhinos, and we will also defeat the fake news media because they're in on the act. We will evict Joe Biden from the White House. And we will restore the American Republic as the strongest, freest, and most powerful nation the world has ever known. We're going to get ourselves back there, and we're going to get it fast. They know me very well. They're not looking forward to having this happen, but they'll live with it. Actually, we got along with them pretty well. There were certain assets also. You know, other countries need a strong America, not just us. Other countries need a strong America. The USA is a mess. Our economy is crashing. Inflation is out of control. Our banks are failing. Russia has joined with China. Saudi Arabia has joined with Iran. China, Russia, Iran, North Korea have formed together as a menacing and destructive coalition. Our currency is collapsing, and the dollar will soon no longer be the world standard. Can you believe this? And that will be our greatest defeat in over 200 years if we lose the dollar. There's a really good chance that we will. But it won't happen with me, not even a small chance. Just like Russia would never have invaded.
Today's special, please. What peanut butter puffs with that?
Make good food fun, and kids will love it for life.
Ukraine, like China would not have even thought about raiding Taiwan. Wouldn't have happened. They understood. They understood. Can't do that. I used to say that if you took the 5 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done. But now I say if you took the 10 worst presidents, because I really believe that, if you took the 10 worst presidents and added them up, they would not have done to our nation what this man and what this administration has done. And by the way, they're going to, after this speech, they're going to be coming after me big time. We are a failing nation. We are a nation in decline, and that's what's happening. I hate to say it. It makes you sick to say it. And now these radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections by using law enforcement. And we can't let that happen. With all of this being said, and with a very, very dark cloud hanging over our country, I have no doubt that we will together win the presidential election of 2024 and make America great again. We're going to do it. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. God bless you. God bless you. And now God bless me, because I'm going to take a couple of questions, okay? Where are we going to go with the questions? Do we have a mic at some point? Do we have a little mic? Oh, go ahead, please. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Gerard. Thank you for the shout out earlier. I appreciate that. One of the issues we are super passionate about at the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women is women's sports and keeping biological men out of women's sports and out of women's bathrooms.
Right.
We recently released a statement calling out Chris Pappas and Ann Custer for voting against the Protection of Women's and Girls Sports Act. So how do we ensure that women can compete on an even playing field and feel safe when it comes to this issue?
Vote for Trump. That's how you do it. Okay? You're going to have no problems. You got me on that one before it was even an issue. It's the craziest thing. And you know, it's amazing. It's a good statement and or question, but so many people, they hear it, they can't even believe it. They can't even believe what's going on with that subject. No, you vote for Trump. That's going to be totally gone. Okay? Go ahead, please. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Thank you very much, Frank Dawson, and thank you for the phone call 3 years ago.
I remember that, yeah.
Thank you very much. You are the man.
Thank you very much.
I would like to ask you a question concerning the military.
Okay.
Do you promise the veterans out there, guarantee them that you will make our military stronger as it was before you were pushed out of office, and you will return, and also make a promise to all law enforcement, all legitimate law enforcement, that you will protect and support them all the way?
So I remember the call. I don't know why, but I have a good memory. But I remember the call very much. I appreciate the love with that statement, not just a statement. The answer is yes. We rebuilt our military. We have the finest equipment in the world. You know, we had jets that were 48 years old, where the grandfather was flying them. Some of the bombers, the grandfather was flying them, and now the grandson is flying them. Now we're redoing our military. We redid a lot. As you remember, I made Space Force, and they tried to end it as soon as they came into office, and they had a revolt in the military. We created Space Force. That's the first time in 78 years since the Air Force that something like that's been done, creating a new branch. So the answer is yes, 100%. You will be satisfied. Not only that, the veterans are very satisfied, 92%. But now, in other words, we had an approval rating, the VA, of 92%. That's never happened before. That's a real job. You know, we got approved where you can fire sadists and sick people. You know, you couldn't fire them no matter what they did. You couldn't fire because of lots of reasons. I won't blame civil service. I won't blame unions. I won't blame anyone. You couldn't fire them. And we got that done. And we also got it done where you can go out and get your own doctor, and we pay, because some of the veterans, as you know, were online for weeks and months. Some of them became terminally ill, waiting to get just a very simple procedure or prescription. They'd have to wait 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. And we made it, you understand this, those two things were very important. The ability, we fired, I think, 12,000 people. They were sadists. They wouldn't attack these people in prime time, I can tell you. But they were sadists, they were thieves, they had some very bad people. We got rid of them. We actually had that passed in the legislature. They've been trying to do it for 48 years. And then on the other, as you know, that was a big deal. If you have to wait online for any more than 24 hours, you have the right to go out and get a doctor, get yourself taken care of, and we pay the bill. And that worked out unbelievably well. You know that's true. That's why they like us. But the answer is yes, we'll take care of it, okay? Thank you. Good to see you. Okay, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. I'm Christine Peters, also from the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women.
Good.
And two of the top 3 issues that women are concerned about right now are inflation and the economy. And how do things like the environmental social governance play into all of the economic issues that are facing women?
Well, they do. And, you have these fanatics, the environmental fanatics. I'm an environmentalist. A lot of you are you want clean water. We want clean air. Nobody wants dirty air and water and other things. So, but you have to be reasonable. These people are crazy. They're putting windmills all over the place. They're going all over windmills. The birds you want to see a bird cemetery? Go under a windmill sometime. And they're made in China, just so you know, and causing a lot of problems, very expensive. But I will say this, we will take care of this inflation by going and drilling. You know the sign in they have Con Edison in New York, utility. They used to have a sign, dig we must, drill we must. We must drill. And we did some job. We had it down to below $1.87 for a period of time, gasoline. And what a difference that made. When they came in, they closed everything down. They got rid of Anwar. Anwar, since Ronald Reagan, they've been trying. Ronald Reagan couldn't do it. Bush couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. I got it done. The biggest site probably in the world, drilling in Alaska, they ended it the first day of the Biden administration. I mean, you think about it. They ended it the first day of the Biden administration, a site that would have been almost the size of Saudi Arabia, maybe bigger, and they ended it. But we'll do it again. We can do it again. We'll get it done again. When you reduce the price of energy, everything else is going to come down. And when everything else comes down, what we'll be able to do is get the interest rates down, and we're going to get our country back. Because our country...
We're picking up where Eli Gemstone left off, America's Jesus daddy.
It's time! These are not people of God! They're charlatans!
Country, the way it's going right now, is going into a depression. We're going into a depression, like a 1929 type depression, and we're not going to let that happen. But we're going to drill, we're going to get energy down, everything else. When they held it back, the energy became so oppressive, so expensive, that everything went up, and you had inflation at a level that you hadn't seen in 52 years, and it's still horrible. But we're going to bring energy down, way down. We're going to get the interest rates down. We're going to get back to a great life. We're going to strengthen up our military, and we're going to be able to deal with China and Russia and everybody, and they're not going to play with us. They're not going to play with us. Thank you. Okay? Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Is it on? Okay. God bless you, President
Thank you
Trump.
very much. God bless you.
My name's Christine. I'm from Atkinson, New Hampshire, and engaging with young voters is crucial. Here in New Hampshire, we have American First warriors like Caroline Levitt. How do you plan to engage with Gen Z voters?
Well, I think we're doing that. And I'll tell you what, you would be shocked, like Charlie Kirk and others, the job that they do with their youth. It's a youth movement. It really is. That's another movement. You would be shocked to see how popular we are on college campuses. Much different than what you read, much different than what you hear. But, one of the things about having this horrible thing take place where 4 years of, we've lived in 4 years of hell in this country in many ways, in many, many ways, more ways than you even know. But one of the things is they have shown how bad they are. And we'll be able to do things now to get it straightened out. We have to make our cities safe again. We have to clean up our areas. We have to get things going in this country again. They've shown how bad things are. The voting is so dishonest. People see it. People see it. All you have to do is just have a little common sense, and you see the level of dishonesty, because we want strong borders. We want great elections. We want strong elections. We want great education. And all of the things that have happened in the last 4 years have shown how bad these policies are. And it's actually, in a certain way, going to make it much easier for us. Okay, one or two more. Go ahead. Do you have anybody over there? What happened to that man with the mic? Let's go over here.
Hi, my name's Tony. I'm
Hi,
actually
Tony.
here from the Cape, all the way from Cape
Good.
Cod.
Nice place.
Very nice. I just have a question on election integrity. So we're all here for...
Or lack of integrity.
Thank you. That was going to be my next question.
Election
How
lack
are
of-
we going to take back 2020? I know we got 2024, but we need to still work on what happened with 2020. And how are we going to make America great again? by taking back the 2020 debacle?
The best thing we can do right now, and there are a lot of people going, working very hard on 2020 because, history, you can't forget history. If you forget, you're doomed to failure in the future. But there are many cases going on right now. You know that. I think you're involved in some of them. But there are many cases going on right now in different states. If you look at Wisconsin, what they found out in Wisconsin, they were one crazy vote away from turning over the election. And they should have turned it over. This was a political whack job that voted the wrong way. And other judges on that panel just excoriated him. But you look at what's happened in some of these states, they get it. They know what happened. But you know what we have to do? Never forget that. I'm not one of these who you have to forget it. So many people say, sir, put it in the background. You can't forget. Because if you forget, they're going to do it again. What we have to do is we have to win. Because, you're talking about a very short period of time. We have to win, and we have to win big. We have to win. We have to really swamp them. If you swamp them, there's not a thing they can do. There's a level at which they can't do it. And to be honest, we did so well last time, I sort of thought we swamped them, but they used COVID to cheat, among other things. So they used COVID to cheat. We're not going to let that happen, and we're not going to hopefully have any of that. But we have to watch. The most important thing you can do is on election night, meaning election period, I'm sorry to say. France just had an election recently. 36 million votes, all paper ballot. You had voter ID, and it was same day. So you had same day, voter ID, all paper ballot. The election was over at 10 o'clock. The numbers were cast. Everybody went home. Congratulations. There were tears and there was joy, and that's what we should do. Same day voting. Because when you have voting that lasts for 44 days, and everybody's looking around and moving things around, and why is this truck here? What are those things that are moving in and moving out? People have to have confidence in elections. People have to have confidence. The problem is we have a lot of people without courage. That includes judges. We have judges that looked and they said, oh boy, I'm not turning this over. They didn't have courage. They didn't have courage to do what should have been done. But we can never forget that. And it just, a lot of people continue on. We have to win though now. Now we have one coming up, and we have to win like never before. We have to get more votes than anybody ever got. And we have to watch those polling places, stand over those. They threw our people that were watching, our poll watchers, they call them. They had thugs, in many cases, throwing them out of the room. And these were good people. And they'd say, I'm a poll watcher. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. I mean, they intimidated these people. And it was just such a horrible, corrupt election. We have to have courage. And if we don't have courage, you're not going to have a country. I love your question. I love your question. Now we have to win, and we have to win bigger than ever before, and we'll get it all straightened out. Okay, we'll do one more. How about one more? Go ahead. Now, this is a bad question. Or if I don't give a great answer, I'll do another one. Because, Elton John said, encores are very dangerous. You do a fantastic concert. Everyone's going crazy. Then you do an encore of a song. It's good. Then you do another encore, and the song doesn't work. And you leave. Everyone said, what a rotten job. But you're never going to say that about Trump, right? Let's go.
President Trump, my name is Brendan, and I would just like to know, what is your plan for dealing with the growing threat of North Korea?
North Korea has been a very good example of what intelligence is. I got along great with Kim Jong-un. We had a very tough start. I called him Little Rocket Man. I called him Rocket Man. I called him lots of things. He called us. And then one day I got a phone call, and they said, we want to get together. And the Olympics in South Korea was coming up. Nobody bought it. They weren't selling anything. And all of a sudden, I got North Korea to participate in the Olympics, and the thing sold out like in 2 days. It was incredible. We did a great job with North Korea. We will be able to deal with North Korea. I don't think this administration will be able to deal with North Korea. Okay, one more. Go ahead, one more. Yes, ma'am.
President Trump, I believe most Americans can agree.
Introducing Astapro Allergy. It starts working in 30 minutes, while Flonase takes hours, so you can Astapro and go.
That the radical left's defund the police movement was destructive to our police force.
It's still going on too, by the way.
Absolutely. when you are president, what will be done to correct the getting our police up to par with proper training, with proper numbers, and get them back on track?
So you're talking to the right person. We are taking care of our police. When I was in office, we had billions of dollars worth of Army equipment, Marine equipment, naval equipment, billions in storage rooms all over the United States. And Obama didn't want to get it out because he said it looked too tough. It didn't look good to give it. I said immediately, get it out. I gave billions and billions of dollars. You know what I'm talking about. All of this ex-military equipment. It was incredible. And for safety, including trucks that were armor plated, I gave it all to the police. We got it out. It was sitting there drawing dust, but very valuable stuff. We took care of our police. We are going to take care of our police, and we're going to make sure that we support our police, because our police can solve the problems of our cities instantaneously if you let them do their job. And we love our police, and we love our firemen and everybody else that does. But we have to support them, and we can't have them be afraid that if they use one wrong word, their life is ruined. We can't let that happen. And one other thing, they do an incredible job. And you have bad apples. Every once in a while, something happens. It shouldn't happen. And we have to understand things like that can happen. We have to support our police. These are great American patriots. They used to do a job. Now they're not allowed to do the job. We have to allow, especially in our cities that are rotting and decaying, we have to let our police back. We have to let them do the job that only they can do. They're fantastic people, and we are with them, and we're going to help fund them. We're not defunding. We're going to fund our police. Thank you. Great question. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you. This is an incredible place. This was a great day. I enjoyed it so much. I want to thank Steve and all of these incredible endorsers, because that's a record-setting endorse. But I want to thank you all. God bless you all. We'll be back. God bless you all. That's good. Well, thank you very much. What a group this is. Ooh. And we want to thank the fire marshals, because they had
We begin with this Fox News alert. This is Fox News Tonight. I'm Harris Faulkner. The Justice Department has just indicted former President Donald Trump over his handling of classified documents after he left office. The former president announced this news just moments ago himself in a post on his social media platform, Truth Social. Here's the quote. "The corrupt Biden administration has informed my attorneys that I have been indicted, seemingly over the boxes hoax, even though Joe Biden has 1,850 boxes at the University of Delaware, additional boxes in Chinatown and D.C., and even more boxes at the University of Pennsylvania, and documents strewn all over his garage floor where he parks his Corvette, and which is secured by only a garage door that is paper thin and open most of the time." Trump also said he has been summoned to appear at the federal courthouse in Miami, Florida next Tuesday. Another quote, "I never thought it was possible that such a thing could happen to a former president of the United States. I am an innocent man," he added. "This is indeed a dark day for the United States of America." Matthew Whitaker is the former acting attorney general under former President Trump. He joins me now with reaction. First of all, just your initial reaction to what the former president just said. This is a dark day for this nation.
Yeah, Harris, good to be with you. It's a really sad day for our country. I mean, if you believe in the rule of law and if you believe in equal justice under the law, this should concern you because, we have what appears to be a completely political prosecution of the former president, the current leader for the Republican nomination. And, it was a rush to get him indicted. You look at the other cases, compare this to Hunter Biden's case, Joe Biden's case, Vice President Pence's, and even, Hillary Clinton. And I can't see how the Department of Justice isn't explaining why they're doing this case and none of these other cases that I just mentioned. It's really a sad day, Harrison, and I think it's the stuff of banana republics, quite frankly.
You know what? I have to point out what the former president is saying about that garage with the papers strewn all over and the lack of classified document security at a current president's home. All of that is true. We have pictures of where the Corvette was parked.
Yeah.
We know that they found documents that weren't even told to the American public, weren't even told to anybody outside the Biden circle for months after they had been first found at the Penn Wharton University Penn with his name on it, that place at the campus, and then 2 of his homes. And then it was like an Easter egg hunt. I mean, every place you look, there were more documents. The president isn't wrong about complaining about that and saying that this is not fair.
No, and the other thing that Donald Trump also has on his side is he was president. He could have declassified these documents. That is going to have to be, I guess, litigated now. But also, they were negotiating with the National Archives. They were trying to resolve this situation. And so it's very frustrating, I'm sure, for the president and his team to think that they were resolving this presidential records issue. And all of a sudden the FBI comes in and raids. And now we have a special counsel appointed by Biden's attorney general, really what appears to be doing political work under the auspices of a special prosecutor. It's very concerning, and I join a lot of Americans that kind of have a sinking feeling that this may be the best days of the United States may be behind us if this is how our political climate is going to be.
You mentioned that he could have declassified those documents. Do you know why he wouldn't have done that?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I think, again, it was my understanding that the special counsel put witnesses in front of the grand jury that said that Donald Trump had declassified certain documents, especially the ones that were, in the presidential residence at the White House. But, again, each one of these documents is going to have a story. And each one of these documents, the federal government's going to have to explain to a jury beyond a reasonable doubt that President Trump couldn't have had these and shouldn't have had these. And it was illegal for him to have them. And, again, we haven't seen this indictment yet. And we're told that, I guess, there's 7 counts. And so I think a lot of it's going to be in what the indictment says and then what the evidence shows.
Are you surprised, because the president says that he was first notified, less than 36 hours ago? Are you surprised at the speed at which we found out about the indictment? I mean, how does this normally work? When you say that this is a dark day for America, give us some of the exceptions to the normalities that you see.
Well, first of all, the speed with which this investigation happened, again, we have the Hunter Biden investigations, 4.5 years, nothing has happened. We have this recent alleged bribery case when Vice President Biden allegedly received $5 million, and that has been languishing for years. And so, it just seems like when Republicans, or especially Donald Trump, is under the wheel of investigation, that they do it with post haste and they throw all the resources on it. But when Democrats, and especially Biden family and others, are alleged to have had wrongdoing, that these investigations go nowhere. And I just, it's a 2-tiered system of justice, Harris. And we've talked about this before, but this is just another example. And I think it's the worst example yet of that 2-tier system of justice.
Matthew, before we move on here, I have to ask, what's he facing? And I know we don't know the 7 counts, but you know enough about this case, and you know enough about what would have been there, because we've seen pictures of the documents. I mean, some of them looked rather staged, but we've seen some of this, and we know the president has talked about it. So what could he be facing?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of this is going to be tried in the press. We're going to see leaks, continued leaks from the special counsel on what they believe their evidence is. And so, what he's facing is, a public trial ultimately. But I think, Donald Trump seems to always get stronger when challenged. These types of things that would normally melt an average human being, I think, give him strength, and he continues to fight. And, the question I have is why do we continue to have these persecutions? The Russia hoax is a prime example where they threw all the resources they possibly could and tried to prove anything they possibly could, and they never got a single charge out of that against Donald Trump. And I just see this as another example of that, where the Department of Justice is, for some reason, probably because Donald Trump isn't beholden to anybody and can actually, take this country in a better and improved direction, that's why they're going after him, because they want to stop him in this swamp, and the people that live in it are real, and they don't like Donald Trump.
Do you think that he has the legal team around him at this point that can handle all of this? Do you see him bolstering that at all? And would you want to be on it?
So I've spent a lot of time with President Trump. I just saw him in Iowa last week. He's going to have to determine whether he has the right people in the right positions. And, ultimately that's his decision. I would do anything to help Donald Trump right now. I'm not, but, I'm going to come on Fox News and other channels just to make sure the American people understand what this case is really about.
Matthew Whitaker, former acting attorney general under the former president who's been indicted tonight. Thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News.